Welcome to the Reality Check. Psychosis is Real, So is Recovery podcast.
I'm Dr. Ashley Weiss. I'm a child adolescent psychiatrist.
And I'm Serena Chaudhry. I'm a clinical social worker.
And we are the co-founders of EPIC-NOLA, which is the Early Psychosis Intervention Clinic in New Orleans, and also the co-founders of CALM, Clear Answers to Louisiana Mental Health.
I'm super excited to have a very special guest on this episode of Reality Check, Lindsay Manfredi. Applause. Lindsay is an author, a musician, a craft queen, so many things. And so we're really glad that you're here. I don't even know where to start in terms of everything that I want to know, but I think, I did want to tell you a funny story about this morning. So we are planning, Serena and I've had to be wrangled down to get these podcasts out. And so we're brainstorming of who we're going to talk to and blah, blah, blah. And today on our marketing meeting, the girl that does social, someone was like, oh, so Parker's totally girl crushing on your interview, on the person that you're interviewing later today on your podcast.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, really? Who? And she was like, Lindsay. And I was like, oh gosh, how do you know Lindsay? She's like, her book. That's so awesome.
That is awesome.
I was like, I love Lindsay and met Lindsay because I love the band that she's in. So it was really cute. She's really pumped about your book.
That's good. I'm working on a new one, so I'm really pumped about that.
That's good. It takes a lot to write a book, but tell us about your process and what made you want to write the book, and then a little bit about the book. Unfuckwithable.
Well, Unfuckwithable, and I explain it in the book. I mean, I started writing it in 2016. It wasn't published until 2020. And it took a lot, me just wasting time, procrastinating. I would get super focused and dial it in for a month, and then life would happen and I would just do whatever. But I really wanted to write the book because I was going through a terrible breakup, and I just had to reassess my entire life. And what I had found is that I had gotten away from my spiritual life and meditating and God. And I was coming back into okay, what am I here for? What's the purpose? And I really wanted to create something to make other people be aware of how unfuckwithable they themselves could be if they put themselves first and actually make better decisions. And with the new book that's coming out, it's called The Girl Who Cried Love. And I still have a working subtitle. I'm working with my publisher on that, but it is about just finding our own toxic behaviors that keep us in toxic love and toxic cycles, and just identifying those and overcoming them. But I share my love stories, my major love. It's very intimate and detailed, I will say. So it's a good read for, we want to know about Lindsay and does she go through? But it's also a great read into, oh my God, I realized all this negative stuff that I was doing, that I was participating in, which, has led to my sobriety, my sober year, which I'm 63 days sober today. And I'm very excited about what this journey is doing for me currently and what it's going to do throughout the year. But I promised myself a year. Alcohol will always be there, but I just want to focus and be very centered and grounded and aware of my guides and the universe and put out the best work I can possibly put out.
Congrats. Yeah, super awesome. I found your book to be super inspiring. I love your vulnerability. I love your boldness. And clearly you're very clear about, the journey it's been to go from where you were to where you are. And I really appreciated all of the suggestions that you leave throughout the book. And it's such a great way to subtly share this advice and not in an overbearing way, but just suggestions. Here's what you can do to improve your life. But I also appreciate your honesty about the journey of writing, which is hard. And I think writing about oneself can be even more challenging in different ways because it forces you to look at things. So I'm curious, you had this first book. It's awesome. It's inspiring. It's bold. What inspired you to do book 2?
Same thing. I was in a kind of a crazy toxic pattern in a relationship that really meant a lot to me. And I had to really look at my own bullshit. And so it made me go all the way to my past because I realized I had been settling for a lot of relationships, including my first marriage when I was 27 years old, over something that my father had said to me when I started getting tattooed when I was 18. I knew I was going to be a rock star or an artist of some sort. So I was like, fuck it, let's get tattoos. And I was always warned against because I was raised in a Christian home and I was diagnosed with bipolar. I was diagnosed with depression. My parents thought I was crazy, but really I was just crazy because I really hated the environment that I grew up in. And I rebelled a lot. And so when I was 25, I had my kid. I have a trans son who's now 21 years old. But I remember when I had just had Chevelle, my father was like, I don't know who's ever going to want to be with you. You're like unmarried and have a baby and tattooed. Like you're never going to find a normal person who's going to love you. And I didn't even realize it until this last year that made me like, oh, there's a normal person. Love me, choose me, pick me. Instead of waiting and like developing who I was and my character, I was constantly grasping and looking for love, hence the girl who cried love. And it took a lot of years to develop my own self-worth and to not have imposter syndrome, to not be afraid to speak up in my relationships, which I was doing constantly. So through a lot of therapy and meditation and journaling and writing, I've been able to get on a path where I can have a healthy love. But it has all started with knowing my worth. And not so hard for people to understand their worth. There's so much in their past that they don't feel like I who's going to forgive me, who's going to understand me, who's going to see me. And when we stop being our own worst enemy, we can move beyond that and find the greatness within ourselves. And I feel like I'm a good conduit to share that information in my examples. So
for sure. And I think it's people tend to look at people and judge them based on what's on paper and everything just seems great. And everybody has a picture of how people should be. And I think in our work, it happens all the time where it's like things look great from the outside, but on the inside, it's much, much different and a much more, can be a really scary place. And then being in environments that you've like adapted yourself to somehow live in them and they feel awkward. And then, you're like growing up and holy shit, now I'm just starting to be able to embrace those things. And
I'm reading this book. It's called Good Boundaries and Goodbyes, or Good Boundaries or Goodbyes. I just started it. And she has this quote, and I'm going to butcher it because I just read it the other night and I don't remember it, but she was talking about how everybody has dysfunctions, but it's when we allow those dysfunctions to become normal instead of actually addressing them. And like, how can we change that dysfunction? And a lot of people don't want to do it. It's like they're very simple steps, just like the steps in Unfuckable is, hey, maybe you should do this. But it's not easy because it takes like serious commitment to yourself. And a lot of people are too lazy. Honestly.
And I think you do a great job of painting that picture in Unfuckable because you talk in like detail about how hard it is, like the details of what's not working, what you're facing, what like you're feeling, which isn't great and isn't good, it's bad. And like it's hard to deal with it. It's hard to admit it, to face it, 3, deal with it. And I think you also you just said something earlier about the challenge of coming to terms and loving yourself and accepting yourself. And it's hard in general. I think for humans, I think that's next level for women. And then take that a step further when one's struggling with a mental illness and or right paranoia, delusions, as we deal with in the world of psychosis, that's layered upon all of that. And it takes courage. And I just appreciate the courage you had to share your journey in your book. And I really think it's an awesome book for anyone to read, specifically some of our patients.
Yeah, for sure. And I love about the book where it's very clear that even though you don't talk, it's like some things are not pleasant, you don't internalize it. Like it never becomes like it's not me, but you never take it like it's you and you're some sort of, it's an issue that you can be objective about. It doesn't define you, and you can actually take steps.
Yeah. And that's, people do internalize it. And
all the time.
That's the pivot that I'm trying to teach. It's the Dr. Emoti, I forget his name, that did the study on water and how they had people yell, "I hate you, you're disgusting, fuck off," to the water, and then froze it. And then, "I love you and thank you and I'm so grateful," all of these things. And they froze that, and that turned into beautiful crystals and like all of these beautiful things. And this is a science-based study. Our bodies are comprised mostly of water. So the things that we say to ourselves matter so fucking much. So when you can say, like, "Ugh, God, I feel so gross today. I'm so," insert whatever word. It's, whoa, wait a minute. I am doing the best I can do today. I'm working towards everything I need to work towards. I moved my body today. Like, when you can literally take action to make your life better. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's a consistent thing. And so when you can catch yourself in those thoughts of "fuck my life" to what I like literally get to breathe today. I have water to drink. I am so grateful. Just start with the little things and start to pivot and climb that ladder to where, oh, wait a minute. I get a brand new day to do stuff, to create, to make different choices, to spread love to people. Because I think that we all just need to be loved and share love. That's what we thrive off of.
Yeah. And it becomes habitual talking to, I see it all the day in clinic. It's, "Oh, I'm not going to do this because I've got schizophrenia. Oh, I'm never going to get this because I've got this, because I've got this." I'm like,
it's all bullshit. Like, stop saying that. Stop to yourself. Stop talking to yourself like that. Like, okay, you're not then. But what do you like? It's really about having people take control of their situation. And so what? You have schizophrenia. Like, when you're in a zone, be crazy and create something amazing. Use it for art. You grab a easel and a canvas and go nuts. Like, use what God has given you. I'm in the middle of Gabby Bernstein's new book, Self-Help. And it's like the internal family systems. We all have those different voices in our head, and it's about what we choose to listen to. But it's also about acknowledging, like, "Hey, buddy, we're coming out to play today. All right." And speaking kindly to that voice.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to put you back in timeout.
You are not healthy.
If you want to come play, let's play creatively. Let's make something of it. Like, and I don't necessarily know how the mind of someone who experiences psychosis and schizophrenia. I can't imagine, but I imagine you could probably work with it, like through therapy, of course. And that's what you ladies do, which is so brilliant.
Well, this is one of our patients. This awesome art, right?
I love it.
Yeah, we have so many people, and I love that part. And they usually use that it's like the thing that feels most natural is when they're doing their more creative, using the more creative parts of their brain. You can tell that's when they feel most comfortable and they feel like they've been the most like authentic. What's
that makes
not.
you feel good.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
has to make them feel good. What are some other issues that you hear, like excuses? Like when someone says, "Oh, I can't do that because I have schizophrenia," what is that?
I honestly, and this is probably just where my mind's been most recently, it's really opened my mind up as a human to just the level of intense societal stigma and misunderstanding that is just pervasive. Like, it's everywhere. Like, it's, everybody's insane, everybody's psychotic, everybody's this, and someone like we try to take back the word, right, and give it like a for real, let people with psychosis use it the way that they want to use it. But it's just so many layers of external pressures that is a lot for a young adult to handle at all. And I think it just sometimes the experience itself tends to make you feel more isolated because it is such a intense in your mind experience. But then when the layers of the outside start coming in, it's just very easily just to isolate. And so then that becomes a pattern, right? And that becomes a habit of just not wanting to deal with everyone else, especially when you're finally comfortable with yourself. And then it very quickly can become very lonely. And I think that loneliness is one of the biggest issues that our people face. And it's not necessarily by choice. It's just, I've come this far to where I'm able to like function and do my day to day, but I can't deal with everything else out there. And so I just
protect myself.
I'll just be by myself.
Because I think in some instances, there's this fear of yet another rejection, right? Like the psychotic episode is this traumatic rejection of self and society's rejection, right? It's this culmination of so many things. And then to take a risk is scary. And to face another rejection, I imagine, is just daunting and paralyzing at times.
Yeah. I can't imagine. However, like, I think that self-worth, and when patients or humans understand that it's worth it, I can't speak to it. I want to say, instead of, so they're artistic. I don't know if any of this is making sense. I feel like I'm like going in a circle. What am I trying to say? I'm all about the self-worth. And it just takes time. All that stuff takes time.
But I think you are making sense. And I think you write about this journey of your life, all of our lives that take time, and you make progress, and there's a challenge, and one retreats or one regresses, or however you want to label it. But it's that perseverance, because one feels they're worthy of persevering and moving towards this goal, this vision of who they want to be. And I think, right, for you had your challenges that you name in the book in the context of relationships and your upbringing, and our patients have their challenges in the context of some of those things and psychosis, and there's more, and there's life beyond, and so much is possible when that self-worth, when there's space to cultivate that self-worth. And I think that's what we're trying to do at EPIC and with Calm, is create more space for that.
Yeah, building people up. That's like the most important thing. And telling everybody, fuck everybody else. Fuck what other people think. Fuck the room. Fuck the people. Pulling some Gary Vaynerchuk. Fuck the room. Nobody gives a fuck about the room. It's all about you. Like, what are you doing to contribute to helping? Are you a kind human? What are you doing for society to help raise the standard of the people of those around you? And
you just said something that I just want to name: being a kind human. I feel like we have a clinic full of some of the kindest humans, like really like brings tears to my eyes, like kind humans who I imagine with that sensitivity, there's that fear of rejection is even more heightened.
Rejection's everywhere. Fuck everybody. It's like, if you reject me, you're not for me. Thank you, universe, for showing me that this person sucks and I can move on. And there will be other people to replace that.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a little patient the other day who's got some really annoying voices, but he's also he's like 12. he's been doing really awesome in school, and it is a tough age. And he's starting to just be like, yeah, I am smart. I am this, really owning it in a way that like an 11, 12-year-old can. And I don't like when they say XYZ to me because they'll say nasty things. And I was like, have you ever just put him in timeout? And he's, oh, no. And I was like, why not? Like, I didn't say fuck them. I said the 12-year-old version of whatever. And I was like, you have to go to timeout when you say things that aren't cool, like you should just put them in timeout. And he was like, I think that I will. And he was like, and they will listen because they are like part of me. So they definitely have to listen to me.
So that's a great way to, and Gabby talks about that
for
a lot.
everything.
Because, like, okay, go back. You're a protector, whatever it is that you're trying to tell me. Put him in timeout. Yeah. I love it. Time out, bro. Time out.
So in your book, you wrote about doing work with middle schoolers. And I'm wondering, thinking of this 12-year-old and other middle schoolers who are experiencing some symptoms or at clinical high risk for developing psychosis. I'm just curious, are you working with middle schoolers, or did you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Am I working with middle schoolers?
Am I remembering correctly from the book?
Oh, with Girls Rock. So I did work with middle schoolers and youngins and up to high schoolers. This kind of cut out a little bit, so I only heard the very last part about middle schoolers.
It was just
repeat that. I was like, oh no,
this little patient, this younger patient that Ashley was just talking about, and the like challenge of just being 12, being in middle school, like coming into oneself, like just that general struggle of adolescence, and then this layer of presenting symptoms of psychosis. And I was remembering the part in the book where you're talking about, Girls Rock, and just thinking about mental illness and music and empowerment. And I'm just curious if you can share a moment or two where those things came together in the work you were doing.
I found these campers would come in on Monday and they would be within a week, be out of their shell, completely different kids, because we fostered an environment where they could, let their proverbial freak flag fly. We were just like, let's go. And I think that when you can foster an environment of free spirit and acceptance, that's when people really, especially kids, that's where they thrive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's how do we create more environments where young ones, anyone can be their true self, right? Without that rejection. That's
right.
Kids are
so mean. Kids are so mean. That's why I've got another book that I'm halfway written, and it's called Don't Be a Dickopotamus. And it's really about bullying, which we might have to get together to do on some stuff. But then The Girl Who Cried Love really needs to come out. That's on hold, but that is on the docket for perhaps a release next year after this one comes out. But it is so hard to listen. And one of my professors at Indiana University was Professor Jamie Hamilton. And she has an entire TikTok about bullying, and she's got kids and young ones, and she has got some of the best comebacks for like when kids are bullied. And I would highly recommend following her. Her name's Professor Jamie Hamilton. And I think that if we can teach our kids like, so you think this. She just has all of these really great things to say for young kids who are bullied. And I want to learn more about those when I start researching more for that aspect of the book, because I have stories. I have real life stories. Fans, friends, people wrote into me and sent their stories for me to put into the book, which I've edited, and they're all in a document. So now I'm just creating all the content around it. I think that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
I want to use some of her information as well and all of her research. So
I don't know what you said that made me think about this. Oh, you're talking about fans and stuff. So how is it? You're in a line of work that you can very easily be a victim of vicarious trauma, where you're hearing about things and people are sharing about things a lot. How do you manage that? We get asked that in the same way, but it's like part of the profession. But I don't think people think about it as much from like your standpoint, especially being in a super emotionally driven band. How do you manage that?
And I've talked about this before, but there was a meet and greet that we were at, and I sit next to Scooter during these meet and greets, and we hear stories of trauma in almost every city, and how like I had a gun to my head and your music saved my life. This song came on, you saved me. And this woman came up and she was like, I was in this horribly abusive relationship and like I was getting beaten. She was like, I would have died that night. Like my husband was going to kill me and Suffocate came on and I got the courage to leave. And like, I literally just put my head down and started sobbing. I would get choked up now because it's so emotional, like the things that people go through. And so when that happened, like I just had to stop the meet and greet. We had to take a 5 because I started sobbing and I had to leave the room. Like, Jesus Christ. So it gets super heavy. But then
it's only 5 p.m.
I got a whole night ahead of me.
I know. The show hasn't even started. We haven't even done quiet now. No, but I feel honored to be able to be a part of the healing journey for people. It's not my battle to fight per se. So I'm in it because I'm so empathetic, but I'll give a hug and I will give love and I will praise a person for making the right decision for themselves to get out of something that was going to hurt them. And it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
That shit's hard, actually. It's hard.
Yeah.
But you have to hear it. Like that's even more reason like, okay. This is what we look for. This is what we don't look for. That's where we go back and look at our patterns and what were the red flags? What did we ignore? What were we missing in ourselves to allow a certain kind of behavior to take place? And that's what the new book is about. Like, what are we missing to allow this to happen? Because there are lots of broken partners out there. And until people start owning their own shit, just be alone, man. Life's way better when you focus on your own stuff and you wait for the right thing. And that's totally acceptable, especially with your patients. Like we're not in a race. Like right now we've got this moment and we get to nourish ourselves. And when the time is right, all these other things will happen, but just little atomic habits. James Clear. I'm quoting a lot of books here. Been on reading all things all the time. Just little steps forward.
Yeah, I like the idea of it's always small steps, and then there will be like these unexpected, really pivotal moments that you'll see like a little light bulb go off, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and then I think we've got to get our patients reading more.
Like you, I think I've been like club.
Yeah, we do.
I would definitely do a book club. I've got so many books. I'm reading so many books. I just feel like right now, a book that is really kicking my ass and helping me. It's called The Motivation Manifesto by Brandon Burchard. I'm telling you, it's helping me stay on track for my book. Atomic Habits was another one that I listened to, but it's just really. It's like we're responsible for our own shit. What are you waiting for? Nobody's going to come save us. Nobody's going to write this book for me. I'm fighting my own demons like that are delay, procrastination. Let me just scroll for another like 30 minutes. Like what? Why? Why are we looking up to these people? Why are we looking up to celebrities? What are we doing?
Right.
What is going on? It really gets back to this distraction, and we've got to get back to ourselves. If you want to get shit done. Now, granted, if you don't want to do anything, then all right.
That is your choice.
Don't bitch.
No, you gotta own it.
Right.
Yeah. You just own it. If that's what you want, then you just own it. So what does this year hold for you and for your many adventures?
Well, this year is exciting. I just signed with a new publishing company 2 weeks ago. Signed a contract.
Congratulations.
So, looking for probably a soft launch the book. Okay, so I leave for tour on March 26th. So that's just 3 weeks from now. And then, so our tour starts with the band Cold on April 3rd. It ends June 1st. So then I'm going to come back and I'm going to get my life back in order. But in the meantime, I'll be working with my publishing company on a soft launch. And there's a possibility if I happen to be able to do a cover and get together the Amazon page, I might be able to start pre-sales for the book before I leave for tour. I have a meeting with them next week, though. We'll see. But if not, regardless, the book's going to come out this summer. I have a goal and a dream. I'm working on a keynote. I would really like to start doing a little bit more professional speaking.
That's awesome.
This year, and more coaching, because that's really where my heart is in music, and we don't do that all year long. So I definitely want to start building my Inspired AF business with coaching and with getting this book out and with speaking. And of course, it's all going to be about self-worth and self-love and breaking the toxic cycles that we get ourselves into. And especially me, I'm the most self-sabotaging motherfucker on the face of the planet. So there's that. And then back on tour in the fall with our buddies in the band Saliva. And just a big year.
Yeah.
A book,
awesome.
A couple tours. I'm going to try to relax and just create some loving and healthy relationships here and to just do my best, meditate and stay sober. And I'm just going to stay sober every single day.
That's awesome. I feel like now I've got 5 books I need to go order after this conversation. Speaking of being my own worst enemy, I've got to go make sure I get 20,000 steps and I need to buy books.
It's so funny. I bought a little walking pad. So whenever I'm listening to the albums, or if I'm listening to a book on Audible, I just got Chelsea Handler's new book on Audible and I haven't started it yet because all I'm doing right now is listening to the 2 albums that we're playing over. It's just going to consume me, but I cannot wait to listen to Chelsea Handler narrate I'll Have What She's Having. She's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So that's also
awesome.
on the list. So many books.
Your list is inspiring. I love it.
Yes. All right. Thank you for your time. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah. When am I going to see you? Are you going to come to New York? Or
I'm not sure. I'm trying to work it out because I'm actually taking my children to Europe to see my family and right in the middle of your tour. But there is a slight possibility that y'all might be pit stopping New Orleans after Saliva. Just saying.
Oh, I've heard about that.
So maybe we'll see you.
We want to have you. We want to have y'all here, and then we'll come see y'all. I begged Serena to go with me to Cleveland because that's where she's from. It's like a night right in the middle of the week. And
it sure isn't it? It's like a Thursday night.
It is. And I got a mom and do those things.
What about the weekend? How about Flint, Michigan? Because the Machine Shop is one of the most amazing venues on the face of the planet. And that's a weekend. There's great hotels there.
I might do that then.
Something
because
I was look into.
Yeah.
Something to look into.
Thanks for planting that seed.
I know. It's all it takes. It's
yes.
All it takes is an idea, and Serena and I would be all.
See you in Flint.
I'll see you in Flint.
I'll see you next month. Next course.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Okay.
Well, good luck with all those things.
Yeah, a good one. Thank you. This is going to be a really hard, I don't want to say hard, but it's a lot of songs. It's a lot. Like, I'm rehearsing here standing up and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get on my inversion table. My lower back's already fucking killing me.
Yeah, that's a lot of songs.
It's a lot of songs. But
I think that everyone's wondering, is it really going to be start to finish?
It really is going to be start to finish. And it's like then we're going to do a little intermission. And I thought we were going to have 15 minutes. And Scooter the other day was like, I think we're probably just going to take 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh.
It's not really intermission. It's a bathroom break.
Break, right? And I got to change my clothes in between sets. I'm going to be like,
okay. You get an outfit
That's
change?
fun.
That's
next level.
I'm keeping it super simple this tour. So I'm wearing the same thing for each show. I have multiple of the same thing, but I'm just so in case one is disgusting and dirty, I've got a couple more to choose from until we hit the laundry. But yeah, it's a good time. It's gonna be great. I'm excited. So, all right, I hope to see you too soon.
Yes, we'll see you in Flint.
All right, I will talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you, Lindsay. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Until next time, thanks for taking the time to get your reality check. And remember, psychosis is real, so is recovery.
If you have enjoyed this episode or found it useful, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from and check out the website calmnola.org.